Hello and welcome to our beautiful channel, Vulnerable Love. I
Hi
am
everyone,
Joshua Macias, and this is my beautiful wife.
Christina, and we're so excited to be here with you guys today. Again, it's our weekly video. We are studying the book Getting the Love You Want by, I always do this, Harville Hendrix. It's been an incredible piece of work in terms of relationships in our marriage, and we love sharing it with others and discussing what we're learning.
Yeah, so today's chapter is commitment, and it is a beautiful chapter, juicy chapter. The both of us are going to kind of share a little bit about what opened up for us in this chapter, as well as areas where what would you want to add? Because I just totally blanked on us.
Anyway, we're talking about commitment. Commitment is an issue that could be triggering for some people. Not triggering, but in terms of we all have this saying like a fear of commitment. Oh, he has a fear of commitment. She has a fear of commitment. And commitment is something that is scary for some people. Because it feels maybe like a trap for some people. So depending on how you grow up, depending on your childhood wounds, depending on your attachment style, commitment might be either something very desirable and exciting or repulsive and just annoying and no. Yeah. So this chapter starts with an amazing quote by Denise de Rougemont. And it says, "A life allied with mine for the rest of our lives, that is the miracle of marriage." And I just want to start sharing with why it's so important to have the commitment. Why commit? Why get married? I mean, especially in the day of age that we live in now, a lot of people choose not to get married. They're like, what's the point of marriage? It's just like something you sign and like something you say in front of other people. Like, who cares? Why do it? And, I think there is a reason to do it that has been practiced, by most ancient, tribes and cultures and civilizations for thousands of years. So this commitment, whether it's a ceremony and a vow, a promised public vow in front of friends or legal agreement, it actually, in my opinion, maybe it's old-fashioned, it makes a huge difference in the relationship.
Absolutely.
And people say, oh, it's okay, like nothing changed. It's just a stamp in the passport or it's just like a signed marriage certificate. But actually it does change things. Because to me, and also what this book says is when there is a container of commitment, when there is a security in the relationship where I know that anything can happen, right? People do go through the divorce. But once we actually promise each other that this is it, like I know I don't have to doubt that Joshua has married me because he wants to live with me to the rest of his life. Like I don't have to get up in the morning and think, does he actually want to be with me or does he not? And like that kind of lack of security and safety for people, it actually stalls progress. It stalls healing. So why commitment is important is because you can actually be sure and be safe and secure in order to create inside of the relationship, to create outside of the relationship, and to heal yourself and each other because you have that like safe container.
Yeah, and I mean, on top of that, it's just like in one of the things that is it Harville Hendrix says in here, and I thought it was actually quite hilarious because it seems opposite, but nowadays there are groups of people who say that having a divorce is like the new what is it?
New opportunity for personal development.
Yeah, new opportunity for personal development, and it's just like so. It's just our society is like gone so backwards, and not to say that I mean you can go case by case on this marriage, this one needed a divorce, but at the end of the day, it's just about being accountable and responsible for yourself and in your relationship.
It's interesting because and this might actually get some backlash, right? Because a lot of people have gone through a divorce or going through a divorce, and not to say that in terms of a judgment, right? It's about that divorce. It's like I get it. You can look at it to try to make it positive that okay, it's an opportunity, to lose weight, to get hot, to reassess yourself, and that's awesome. But what is marriage? Like this, we're forgetting what marriage is, and marriage is from at least where we stand for now, hopefully it's not because we are in our first year of a honeymoon type of relationship, but no, truly, it's something that it's a container for life. It's a container to grow together. So like it's possible in 5-10 years we're going to go separate ways in terms of like what we want out of life, or how we grow differently or evolve or change. But inside of a marriage is a container to do that together, like to communicate through it and to do it together.
Yeah, I mean that's the thing too, is like when you choose to get married. I mean, in our case, we got married after a month, so it's not like we had a whole background of, I'm just going to say, of relatedness. Like we didn't really know the ins and outs and all arounds, and I don't really ever feel that anyone ever has that with their partner. I mean, and to me, like,
it's crazy because some people were married. Let me finish.
I'd say for us, like, like it's just really the, wow, you so throw me off.
I'm sorry, baby.
No, it's okay.
I'm gonna
go ahead, say
better.
what you're gonna say.
I'm gonna get better.
I still forgot.
No, what I was gonna say is some people are married, like not married, they're date for 5-6 years, and then they divorce after a year, right? So I don't think a length of being together before marriage is that much.
Yes, so now I remember.
Indicative of success.
Yes, so I mean, when it comes to you finally making that commitment, like, hey, you're the person that I'm giving my life to, and that I'm entrusting to heal my wounds, I'm also really looking at what can I contribute to her, and how can I help heal her and grow with her.
That's right.
And I know it gets a little tricky, especially when some people say, I mean, there was one thing that you said that triggered it for me, is like, oh, maybe we have different paths. I still feel you can have different, like, desires. You can have different desires and different goals in terms of what your purpose is in life.
Right.
But I do feel that you don't grow away from each other. I feel like it helps grow as a unit. That's together. Right. It expands who you are as a relationship, not who you are as individuals. Like her world of work is so different from my world of work. However, we are still expanding our consciousness in these realms. Like, so when it comes to buying a house, I absolutely know nothing, but I wouldn't say, oh, well, Christina does, so maybe I'll just leave the buying houses to her. No, I can come to her for that growth. For us, like for myself, and like actually step up and be like, hey, like I want to try this out, and I know that I have her there to guide me. And with her, I'm a massage therapist. I do energy work. I do intuitive massage therapy. And when it comes to any of that realm, I'm always sharing the knowledge that I have, that I've practiced, that I've had clients practice, and I share that. And so I don't really ascribe to that, oh, we have different, I just feel like that's and I'm actually going to be talking about this later, I feel like it's a way to have it as an exit strategy to like, like maybe there's some underlying issues, there's underlying issues that have you be like, oh, well, and you just look at it, we're just growing apart from each other. You don't have to grow apart from each other.
Right, even if you have different desires, but yeah, so anyway, we kind of digress a little bit. This chapter is a lot about why commitment is important, and so what he says, that even if we go through challenges in a relationship, it's extremely important to commit to stay together for at least 3 months. So let's say if you're thinking of like, okay, you know what, I'm contemplating divorce, I can't be with this person, I hate them, honestly, or how about this, I don't hate them, I just don't want to be with them, I don't like them, or how about even, I don't care, I just don't care, I have no feelings left for these people. Well, if you actually do the work, and this is what he's suggesting, do this 3 months work. So once you do 12-week intense work, and actually during this 12 weeks, you absolutely agree to not exit the relationship, no matter what happens, no matter even if you want to. You actually agree to give it your all and not exit it through a breakup or death or suicide or losing your mind. Like, he literally actually goes into it, because some people create these scenarios in their head. Like, it's not just like a breakup. Like, some people are just like, I can't do this shit anymore, I'm so trapped, like I'm just gonna kill myself, or I'm just gonna kill them, or I'm just gonna and I know it sounds crazy, but it does happen all the time, because people, they can stay in that relationship. So he's saying commit for 3 months to actually not have any exit strategies.
And the exit strategies are just like ways to tune out. You know, it doesn't have to be like literally like, oh, I'm leaving in terms of a divorce, because there's even what he calls what is it, the invisible divorce.
Amazing.
And it's just like ways where you tune out of the relationship, whether it's like slowly adding things to do in your life, in terms of like reading, picking up sports, picking up community events.
Let's look into what they're saying. This is like super cool. We can see.
Yeah,
like,
so we'll jump into that.
Yeah, because guys, for years and years, people do this. Like, they survive their marriages. Like, oh, have you been married for 30 years? Yay. But why? Because you've been so, like, busy, both of you, that you didn't really have any intimacy together all this time. Like, you know, you're doing your work, or you're, you know, in your clubs, or doing this stuff. Okay, for example, and he's actually literally going into the stuff that people do to avoid their partners. So, reading romance novels, disappearing into the garage, camping on the phone, worshiping the car, spending too much time with the kids. I know some of you do that. Being wedded to the computer.
Some of you guys that are watching us.
Volunteering for every committee at church. That's him. Spending too much time on the boat. Spending time at her mom's. Not me. Having an affair. Avoiding eye contact. Memorizing every word of the New York Times. Falling asleep on the couch. Being a sports junkie, coming home late for dinner, fantasizing while making love, being sick, tired all the time, not wanting to be touched, 4 scotches at night, spending too many evenings at the Rotary, lying, refusing to make love, having sex but not making love, living on the tennis court, bulimia, jogging 10 miles a day, going on the weekend fishing trips. There's like a whole page of these guys, and we all do it. And what's important to know is, like, yes, it's cool to live a full life, but the truth is, this is important. This is my marriage. Like, I chose him to live my life. This is like my person. This is my partner. And so for me to actually just do whatever, all these things outside of it, and not spend any time, invest any time or effort into my relationship, like, why would it just be awesome like that? Like, obviously the proof is in the pudding, and the result it's going to produce is like shit. I'm sorry.
So, I mean, and like, let's go to, because, I mean, getting to the end with, so, and like, really, like, in, just to like really catch yourself, like, if you catch yourself saying like, wow, like, you know, like, I just don't think this relationship is for me, if you're married, or if you're in just a regular relationship, let's say if you really love that person, you know, like, and it's hard to say, like, really, like, oh, who the right one is. And I've always heard that you'll know when you know, and that has been the case with Christina, so I do know when I know.
But then that's the thing, we know at first that we know, but then we start questioning it, you know, because later in a few years, I'm like, well, I don't know if he's the right person. Maybe he's not. Maybe I want somebody perfect. I want somebody who meets all my needs, and he's not. And he's, you know, being a certain way, and I don't like it. And like, maybe that means he's not a right person. So we start telling ourselves this.
Yeah, and long story short, like, really, what you want to start doing is, if you catch yourself like trying to exit a relationship, like mentally, physically, well, both, like everything, like, just like, and you're just like, no, this is like, I want this relationship to work, like, because you have to really, first and foremost, have to acknowledge that you want this relationship to work.
That's right.
And because, I mean, that's the first step. And then Harville Hendrix shares a strategy called narrowing the gaps. So
narrowing the
exits. So thank you. Narrowing the exits. And these are things that you're going to want, or this is something you're going to want to do with your partner. You know, like, and like, be vulnerable. Talk about vulnerable love. This is an opportunity to be vulnerable with the person you said, I want to live the rest of my life with. This is, you know, sometimes when I come home, I feel like you're always angry at me, so I stay late at work. I don't want to experience you angry at me, so that's why I do it. Like,
okay,
those are conversations.
Why don't you tell me the real one that you do?
A real one that I do. What do I do?
And I'll tell you
I would say, wow, okay, she really wants me to get vulnerable. I would say I really do. One of my exit strategies, I'll say, is helping other people out. And
He's already having second thoughts. I don't want to say it because I don't want her to use it against me.
No. It's I don't mind saying it, but it's just like because I'm just being present to it for myself. You know, like I realize that I like to help other people out because, like, I mean, Christina and I have when we have arguments, they can be pretty intense just because we're both passionate people, and we're also, or at least I'll speak for myself, very arrogant, and I like to see things only my way at times. So it's like in those moments, it's heavy. It's heavy for me because I actually have to deal with myself and then put myself aside and then be there for her. So there are times where I'd rather help other people out or be like, oh, hey, like, you know, this person is moving and I'm going to go help them out with this, you know, just as a way to get away and protect myself.
Yeah, thank you, babe. That's so good. Proud of you for sharing that. And yeah, like for me, definitely like staying on my phone, you know, I mean, it's also like a habit, right? It's not like we don't even realize that we do this to avoid a partner. It takes a level of self-awareness and really like being present with yourself is to realize, oh, I'm doing that to avoid them. Because we can just all justify, no, I'm doing it because I want to do it. I'm running because I love running. I'm working out because I do. But if you're like, you know, you go to work and then you're going to the gym for 2-3 hours and, you know, you come home at 9 p.m. and like your spouse is already like sleeping, I mean, you know, where's the relationship, you know? So like obviously we do these things kind of to avoid a partner or not to be intimate or not to have these uncomfortable situations or even face when we're unhappy, right? Like literally come and say, you know, haven't been happy. Like I'm feeling really kind of unloved right now and I don't feel safe and etc. So we don't want to have those conversations, so we fill up our time doing this. Well, how's the Instagram world or other things? And like that's definitely what I do is the Instagram sometimes or Facebook, and then sometimes I even like play with my pet. Like I have a dog that I love, and I feel like when things are, we need to show them our monster. What's up, buddy? We're watching our couch stuff.
Over there.
Buddy, chew them. Привет.
Hello.
Yeah. This guy. He has a face that only mother would love, and God is my witness, I do love it. But anyway, yeah, like I would like if we are kind of tense, sometimes I just like start like patting Belvedere. I'm like, because I want that connection, and you know, it comforts me, and I'm like, okay, maybe we don't have it with him or something. So anyway, so just think for yourself, what is it that you do? It could be something that looks positive, like as I said, going to the gym or like playing with your kid, you know, you're playing with your kid or whatever, right? So it could be anything. Volunteering for church, it's like such a great thing, right? But if it takes away from your marriage or relationship, it just, you need to realize what your priorities are. If you want to have a deeply satisfying, rich, beautiful relationship, then, you know, you can't just pour your energy into everything else but that. And you mentioned this on the death thing a little bit. You want to say more?
Yeah. So, and like to really conclude this chapter for today, like I said, it's very rich. At the end of the book, he does share till death do us part. And I know we have been saying this pretty much in terms of this container, but this is like really something to look at as a game. Like really, like this is something to play with. Like we get to play together for the end of our lives. You know, like you are the person that I am trusting that to support in my health, in my healing, and in my growth. And I am going to promise you to be that person for you as well. And one of the ways and one of the things that he actually shares to do in terms of narrowing the exits is writing down a list of things that you are doing already, whether that's going to church, whether that's going to gym, whether that's staying late from work, whether that's going to the bar for a couple of drinks, whether that's
overworking on your computer,
you name
anything.
it. You know
shopping,
what you're doing.
Online shopping.
So so sit with your partner, list the things that you're doing, and actually really look at why you are doing the things that you are doing, and determine which ones you are using as an exit strategy, and share that with your partner. And not so it's gonna take. It really does take a lot. So really, like, you're gonna look at this is an exit strategy, and then now why am I using this? Like, what am I avoiding saying to you?
Yeah.
What am I like? I don't feel acknowledged, or I don't feel respected, or I don't feel loved, or I don't feel heard.
Right.
Like there's reasons why you are choosing to not be here and be out there in the world.
Yeah, and just like, you know what, sometimes it's just laziness too. You know, sometimes you're just not putting the effort into the relationship, and it's important to bring grace and compassion to this process for yourself and your partner. Like, obviously, if Joshua comes and tells me, hey, I do this, and I'm not going to be like, what? How could you do this, man? That's so messed up. Like no. Like, I actually so much appreciate that he had the courage and the vulnerability to share that with me, and now I can keep him gently accountable, right? Like, I don't have to make him wrong, but I can just be like, okay, babe, is this where you're doing this again? Like, or, you know, where this is coming from. So just bring compassion to your partner and grace, and yeah, let's look at those strategies and tell us if you are doing those, if you're willing to, in the comments below. What is your exit strategy? What is your exit? And are you willing to narrow it down and to bring the energy and the love back into your relationship?
Yeah. Also, I mean, like, with sharing what you do as an exit, strategy, and also share. Feel free to share with us what you are avoiding saying about how you feel, because I mean, it's when you actually get to share that is where you get to put that to rest and actually grow.
Yep. All right,
so,
you guys.
I love you guys. Thank you so much, and remember to always hashtag what?
Hustle.
Hashtag hustle.